Bluffing. Bluffing in negotiations is akin to walking a tightrope where one misstep can have significant consequences. It requires not only a keen understanding of the negotiation dynamics but also a thoughtful consideration of ethical boundaries and long-term relationship impacts. While it can be a powerful tool in certain scenarios, it demands cautious and strategic application. The decision to bluff should be based on a thorough analysis of the negotiation context, the nature of the relationship with the other party, and the negotiator's ethical framework. Bluffing, as a negotiation tactic, is a complex and controversial method involving the use of deception or misleading information to gain an advantage. It's a high-risk strategy that can influence the outcome of negotiations but also carries ethical implications and potential long-term consequences for business relationships. Here's a detailed examination of bluffing in negotiations. Definition and concept. Manipulation of perceptions. Bluffing involves presenting false or exaggerated information to manipulate the other party's perception of the negotiation variables like value, urgency, or interest. Examples. A common instance of bluffing is overstating one's budget constraints or underrepresenting one's interest level in the deal. Mechanism of bluffing. False statements. Making factually incorrect statements about one's position or intentions. Exaggerations. Overstating the strength of one's position or the value of one's offer. Empty threats. Threatening actions, etc., walking away from the deal, that one has no intention or capacity to execute. Misleading information. Deliberately omitting or distorting information to create a false impression. Risks and considerations. Credibility loss. If the bluff is exposed, it can lead to a loss of trust and credibility, damaging future negotiation prospects with the party and potentially harming reputation. Ethical dilemmas. Bluffing raises ethical questions, as it involves deception. Different cultures and individuals have varying thresholds for what is considered acceptable in bluffing. Relationship impact. Successful negotiations often depend on building long-term relationships. Bluffing can jeopardize these relationships, particularly if the parties involved value trust and transparency. Legal implications. In certain situations, especially in contractual or high-stake business negotiations, bluffing can border on fraud and have legal repercussions. When and how to bluff. Calculated risks. Weigh the potential benefits against the risks. Bluffing may be more appropriate in one-time negotiations than in ongoing business relationships. Subtlety. Extreme bluffs are more likely to be called out. Subtle misinformation or exaggeration is less risky. Readiness to pivot. Be prepared to change course if the bluff is not working or if the risks start to outweigh the potential benefits. Alternatives to bluffing. Assertive truthfulness. Focusing on assertive, yet honest, communication about one's position and intentions. Strategic omission. Without lying, choosing not to disclose certain information unless specifically asked.